When I downloaded Monster Hunter Wilds, I don't think I really knew what I was getting myself into. I had played Monster Hunter before in Monster Hunter Ultimate 3 for the Nintendo 3DS, but I was not really that into it for some reason. It just never piqued my interest. Since I downloaded Monster Hunter Wilds in the first couple of days of March, I have logged around 150 plus hours into the game, and I still don't feel like I'm done adding to that. This is a feat a game can accomplish with me very rarely, as I get bored very easily and want to turn my attention to something new all the time. But Monster Hunter really had me in a chokehold these past few weeks. I completed the game in probably less than 30 hours, but once I got to the late game, I really had to lock in order to get everything running smoothly, and I'm happy to say that I'm well on my way to having all of the best weapons and armor, and I also have a desire to complete all the achievements in the game, which is rare for me as well, because the only game I do have a Platinum Trophy for is Elden Ring for PS4. I also want to get the Platinum Trophy for Baldur's Gate eventually, but that one seems to be quite a tough job, and I'm probably just going to take my time doing that one. With Wilds, I'm around 80% to my Platinum Trophy, and for the most part, the only super challenging thing I need to worry about getting is finding miniature and gold crown monsters, but with all the new content planned for the game in the future, I'm sure I'll be playing it for a long time to come, so there will be plenty of chances to find the crowns I need. While the bulk of the game starts after completing the main story in the video, I think I want to focus on just the main story and some of the after story, as the late game really doesn't have much going on story-wise other than introducing you to some new monsters and the fight with Gore Magala. Fair warning, I'm going to be going over the entire story and my thoughts on it in detail, so if you're looking to play the game with minimal spoilers, you may want to wait to watch this video until you have completed the game for yourself. The main character of Monster Hunter Wilds is not really the player character. The story and the player exist to serve the sole purpose of exploring the character of Nata, a young boy who had to flee his homeland due to an attack by a ferocious beast. Nata was found unconscious in the desert hundreds of miles away from where he's from, and Nata is an anomaly to this crew that they did not expect because they aren't supposed to be any human tribes in the Forbidden Zone. This entire time, it was thought to be uninhabited, which is a bit hard to believe because we end up meeting tons of different human tribes on our travels through the Forbidden Zone. Nata tells the hunters what happened, and he is taken with them back to their base to prepare for an expedition of this place that takes place in about 2 years. When returning to the Forbidden Lands, we finally meet our player character just after creating them in our own image. Suddenly, there is a commotion in the desert, and we get to show everyone on the airship just who the heck we are, learning how to ride a completely foreign pack animal and saving a little girl with complete finesse. She then tells us that it wasn't just her in trouble. She had gotten into this mess because her and her brother were attacked by a monster, and she had to flee without him, but he was probably still in trouble, so you have to go save him and defeat your first monster. I think this is a fine intro to the game. It's a bit long for my taste, but otherwise I feel like it introduces us to the core concepts of the game in a way that makes sense. I think my only gripe is that all of the natives in the Forbidden Lands, which is supposed to be isolated for ages, all speak the same common language. I think if we are supposed to be kinda like scientists exploring a new world, there should have been a bit more mystery involved with that sort of thing, but for the most part, the natives of the Forbidden Lands are just generic tribe people who make banger food. When I first got the game, I had my mindset on using the longsword as my main squeeze throughout the campaign since it looked like it farmed hella aura. I practiced with it a bit before going to save the girl's brother who was being attacked by a giant toad called Chatacabra. The Chatacabra is a pretty slow beast that mostly just attacks forwards, whether it's a charge or him trying to lap you up with his club of a tongue. I think I would have finished this fight a lot faster with a different weapon, but to me at least in the beginning of the game, the longsword felt pretty complex, having a parry system linked to its charge up attacks that seemed easy at first, but kind of just ended up wasting my time at the end of the day when I didn't think I could get it right. And unfortunately, this was where my disdain towards the weapon began, as I didn't feel like I was having much fun with it. After dispatching the Chatacabra, I looted the area and went back to the others who were taking cover nearby, learning that the Villagers never even really thought of the prospect of trying to defeat these monsters. They thought the only things that they were ever able to do about them was run, which is crazy once you really see how many powerful monsters are out there in the Forbidden Zone. We ask if they know anything about Nata or his people, the Keepers, and they say they've never heard of them, which is interesting because they inhabit relatively the same region, but they suggest we ask the elders just to be sure. So we set off to return the secret and speak with the village. The villagers thank you for rescuing their people, but tell you it's a bad time to talk and send you on your way without the birds, so you have to walk back. But on our way, we see a giant bear of a creature decimating some poor animals before reaching the camp. When you arrive, Alma tells you the support team has been taking a long time to return from their mission, and suddenly we see a support flare rise from the desert, signaling that there must be trouble brewing. Once you arrive on the scene, you see the support team of Palicos are wrestling a quatramies for a slab of prime meat when suddenly the boy from the village appears with secrete to help out the players, sensing we might be hopeless without them. The quatramies was a lot more fun to fight than the Chotacabra, being able to hit you with its tail and with its flaming breath. It also is the first time you actually get to cut the tail off of a monster, and I think that was my main goal here once I saw that sweet tail dangling behind it. After the obstacle, we return to the Windchime village to get information on Nata's people. Unfortunately, the elders don't really know much about him or the Keepers, but they do end up inviting us to have a delicious meal with them, resulting in the viral cheese non-cut scene.
Wow. Look at this. Welcome. Greetings. Thank you so much for inviting us. We're travelers from the West, and my friends and I here.
Yes, of course. You help my grandchildren. Tell me how I can help, and I shall.
Welcome to our home.
Thanks.
Please, have a seat.
Thank you so much again for your warm hospitality.
It's the very least we can do. We hope you enjoy the meal we prepared.
It looks so tasty. Yes, thank you.
As we gather here together, may we so share in the wind's bounty. Please, help yourselves.
Yes, yes.
You heard him. It's so fragrant. Do you use a special kind of flour?
I don't know about special, but it pairs well with the beans.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Nothing like home cooking. Thank you for the delicious meal. We're very grateful. And when you were so busy, too.
We ask a few questions about the area since we couldn't get any info on the Keepers, and we learned that there is a forest nearby where the Doshagama normally live, so we set our sights there so we can take on the beast we saw before. We set up a brand new base camp in the forest so that we can have our support crew nearby and set off to explore the area. Eventually, we come across a swamp-like area that's dyed red, and Eric finds evidence of a nearby Lalabarina, which is a monster with paralytic properties, and just when he leaves our sights, he disappears. The crew rushes off and finds him in the den of the Lalabarina, which is a huge spider-type monster. This is where I decided to try out a new weapon for once in the insect glaive. I think that this specific battle was special for me because not only did I discover my new favorite weapon, but Lalabarina actually became my favorite monster in the entire game. Everything about it is just awesome, from its transforming abdomen to the fact that it has a nest that looks absolutely epic and is one of the only monsters in the game with such a unique residence. The insect glaive was so captivating because I noticed very early on that due to the elevated position you were normally in when zipping around with this weapon a lot of the time, it kept me from harm, though not completely, as I get knocked clean out of the sky often, and the little bug guy you can have come out and do some extra damage is pretty neat too, though I don't know the intricacies of it too well beyond it helping me create wounds on the creature I'm currently hurting. After saving Eric, the crew went straight back to hunting the Doshagama. When returning to the pop-up camp we set up earlier, we saw a ton of little guys scavenging our stuff called Woodwoods. When tailing the ones that took Alma's artifact, we saw tons of Woodwoods in the forest and noticed that they're actually the native tribe to this forested area, not being human but intelligent enough to speak the common language. They say they stole the artifact from the hunters so that they could ask us to hunt a Kongala for them so that they can wear its fur, since for some reason it's favorable to them than the rough Doshagama fur.
There it is. No, don't! Wake it up!
The Kongala is a strange monster, which is a sort of cross between a hippo and a great ape. He has a relatively unique ability to stinkify you, which I'm not too sure of the effect. I would assume it marks you so that you can't sneak up on him, or possibly some sort of poison. Do let me know in the comments what the stinkification actually does to the player stats. He isn't a very hard fight in the least bit, even with the little Kongala that end up coming to help him in certain areas. I think what was most difficult was his small stature when using the insect dive. It was super hard to hit him consecutively unless I landed, since I was still getting the hang of the polearm. The Kongala goes down and we strip the pink hide right from his back to deliver to the Woodwoods ASAP, and they welcome us to their forest. We ask if they would be interested in Doshagama pelts since we're trying to hunt one of those currently, but the Woodwoods lament that there are too many and their fur is much too coarse compared to the soft Kongala fur. On our way back to the mini camp, we finally see a pack of Doshagama and its alpha tearing the campsite to shreds, and we quickly return to the Windchime village to warn them of the nearby threats so that they can prepare. The villagers let you know there is one villager that is unaccounted for getting water in the cave nearby, where we have our second fateful encounter with the Balahara getting there just in the nick of time. The Balahara is not my favorite monster in the game. If anything, I might go so far as to say it's my least favorite monster. I just don't think that there is anything too interesting about it other than the fact that it's one of the first long enemies in the game, and one of my buddies liked doing the Attack on Titan spin attack on him over and over, but Later in the game, there are definitely better monsters that can serve the same purpose. The unaccounted for villager saved and the Balahara dumpstered, we return to the village. Unfortunately, the elders are being stubborn, but with some mild convincing, they agree to evacuate just before the Dashagama begin their assault, ignoring the wind chimes the villagers thought would keep them safe.
What's going on? What happened?
The Dashagama!
Get everyone to safety.
Stay calm! Gather the young and elderly and take shelter!
Okay.
I'll help.
Right.
Nona! Are you okay?
Come on.
Dear.
We need to move.
I know.
Have you seen Nata? He went looking for Nona.
Nona.
Let's split up.
Right!
Nata! I got you. We gotta move.
It's drawn to the livestock. Nata! Don't worry, the hunter is here. Just watch. There's nothing to be afraid of. Let's find a safe place. We need to drive them out of here!
I know.
The hunt begins as the Doshagama attack the livestock and disperse once the livestock flee. The Alpha Doshagama is the first high-stakes fight in the game where I really thought I might lose, but this might be because I still refuse to upgrade my gear and the starting armor for some reason. I got carded twice in this fight, but after returning the second time, the beast only took a few more hits to be slain. The skies are finally clear and we return to the village to see if any other villagers know anything about the keepers and are gifted some secrete to keep instead of borrow this time. I grinded up a bit and got some new gear, then set off into the forest to deliver the newly gifted secrete to Olivia and Eric. When approaching Olivia, she appears to be engaged in something, asking us to stand back, when she is suddenly attacked by the Uthduna, which is probably the largest monster we have faced in the game so far.
Don't move! Nata!
No! That's not the monster!
This is its territory, and we're intruders. I'll draw its attention! You take Eric and run! Then try again.
I'll help.
Thanks.
The Uthduna is a tank of a beast, like I said, and can extend its fins into a curtain that blocks physical damage and reduces its effect. The Uthduna carded me pretty early on, so I knew this boss would be quite the challenge from the start, but I still managed to take it down low enough eventually to see the main villain of the game show his face and suck the beast dry right before our eyes.
Olivia!
Were you able to subdue it? For now.
That was a rather ferocious monster, yes?
Come on. What is that thing?
That's it. I was still hoping that I imagined the whole thing. But no. The White Wraith. It's real!
Nata? It's okay.
Is that what we're after?
The White Wraith.
Well, there's nothing for us here. Let's head back to base camp.
Wait! Could you give me some time to investigate what it was doing here?
We run into the Windchime villagers when asking the Wudwuds about the Uthduna, and they let us know that they're currently on their way to trade with the oil folk who live around the way, so we accompany them to see what kind of information we might be able to scrounge up from them. When we arrive in the oil well basin, the people of the basin welcome us with open arms and let us know that we are just in time for the Fire Spring Festival and show us around. On our tour, we see a girl running through town screaming that she hates her boss, and we go talk to the chief, and unfortunately the chief has not heard of the Keepers either, but remembers some things about Nata's necklace, and he says that it looks like it's connected to an ancient tribe, so maybe if we can find out more about them, we can find out more about the Keepers. The chief also suggests that the girl we saw barreling through town might be in danger where she is planning to gather oil, and we run off to ensure her safety. Trudging through the basin, we see the girl's oil collecting pot and begin searching for her when we're suddenly attacked by the Rompopolo. The Rompopolo is a terrible beast that I hate fighting. It's like a cross between a prehistoric raptor and a pufferfish that is just full of oil. It's probably my least favorite monster looks-wise, I would say. The Rompopolo was kind of annoying because of its ranged attacks, but overall he was a textbook takedown and we finally rescue Maki and her partner. Before returning to town, we see a Grade 8 moving towards the village and we leave to ensure the people are safe. The party arrives just in time to see the kickoff of the festival when there is some sort of malfunction with the fire spring that delays the festivities. Suddenly, the Windchime villagers come back with news of a sandstorm, and Nata thinks the White Wraith will return due to the severe weather conditions, and we head back to the desert. After arriving at Kunafa village, we head straight into the fray, arriving on the scene of the White Wraith battling a Ray Dao, which is a pretty powerful lightning-fueled dragon.
What's the other one?
From the look of it, that must be this region's apex predator.
This can get ugly. We'd better keep our distance.
Or we can observe from afar.
Lata!
You can't!
Why? Why did it attack us? Did we do something wrong? There must be a reason, right? You're a hunter. You've got a weapon, and you do nothing? Give it to me, and I'll... Why won't you let me go? I want to go home! Give me my village back!
Is that monster absorbing its energy?
That doesn't look good. Run! Shoot, 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 shoot! It's gone berserk. The village is doomed if we don't stop it. I'll find us a spot to lay low. I'm going too. We've got to get Nata out of here. Got it.
I'll provide support for the time being!
Thanks.
After the battle between the two dragons concludes, the Rey Dao's attention turns to us, and we shred him down with the insect Gaive, bouncing between his wings. Rey Dao was a challenging fight and can be very tough if you're not moving constantly, but thankfully the insect Gaive kept me in the air, avoiding a majority of his major attacks. The crew returns to the oil well and gears up for another expedition to investigate the land spine and possibly find the tunnel Nata came through when fleeing his village. Team Nata arrives at the cliffs and it is super cold, requiring a hot drink in order to prevent your stats from dropping, and then we meet this little guy being accosted by a near Scylla, so we promptly murder him.
A Nursilla.
Ah, now death greets me with a new mask. Or are you my salvation? So, what shall it be? Should I leave it to fate?
No! We're gonna save you! This is clearly a job for the guild.
Well, I struggle. Ergo I am. Faced with death, I am finally, truly alive.
Hunter, in order to rescue the Linian and secure the surrounding area, the Guild authorizes you to hunt that Nursilla.
I'm on it.
We'll be back at camp.
The Nursilla is a bit different than the Lalabarina, having a lot more ranged attacks and really annoying attack where he can poison you instantly. But for the most part, Nursilla gets crushed by the insect glaive and we save our little fuzzy wizard buddy. The fuzzy wizard imparts his knowledge and agrees to guide us to the surface. Before leaving the cliffs, the hunters are jumped by 3 Hirabami who are usually in packs. We take shelter to prepare for a moment after our last bout and head back out to slay their whole gang. This fight is a blast with the insect guy getting to bounce between each of the 3 Hirabami back and forth. I was going to try to kill all 3 of them just cuz, but eventually resorted to just killing one of the monsters and leaving the other 2 to flee. The Hirabami is only really challenging if your weapon doesn't have enough range to it, otherwise you'll be missing a lot of shots as the Hirabami is floating most of the time. Returning to the oil well, we learn the fire spring has been repaired and that we're just in time to watch them activate it when the great apes finally take action and attack the village. The player and Oliva are accosted by 2 Akajaran, which are these giant gorillas with small mountains on their back that can spin around in a ball like Sonic in order to smash you like a meteorite. Fighting them together was fun, but eventually they split and somehow Oliva kills hers before I kill mine, but with her assistance both apes eventually fall. When we get back to the village, the Akajaran come back with an army but are dispatched of by a mysterious alpha predator the villagers call the Black Flame.
You're back.
How's it looking?
So far, so good. As long as nothing else happens.
Find cover!
Warren, get out of here now!
No! We never wanted this to happen! The Black Flame. Long ago, there was a particularly fierce fire spring. The Black Flame came and consumed the Everforge. It is a story I was told when I was but a boy.
What? Is there nothing we can do?
What have we done?
The Guild will take things from here.
Can you handle the defenses here?
I'll manage.
We'll step up too. Let's get through this together.
A had a bit of a training arc, and then I shot down into the depths of the oil well basin to fight the Black Flame, which is an oil-covered octopus that can attack you from all sides. The Black Flame is probably my second favorite monster up until this point of the game. I think his flaming octopus design is super unique and looks stunning. Up until this point, every fight save for the Uthduna had been pretty easy, but the Black Flame is actually one of the first monsters that I felt gave me a real challenge with its hostile environment and dynamic moveset, but eventually the Black Flame burned too bright and was extinguished. The fire festivities resume as soon as we get back to the village, and they're so joyful this guy hits one of these. After saving yet another native tribe, our environmentalists return to the Ice Shard Cliffs to set up a base camp so we can get one more step closer to helping Nada find his home. Before we get close to the passage, a crazed Oshagma crashes the party and for some reason is not like the rest, as the crew will come to find out this is a Guardian Doshagama, a huge upgrade from its former forest-dwelling counterpart, and this thing packs a punch, but for the most part, saved for the charged up attacks, it's just an enhanced version of the Doshagama we fought before, so after a long egregious battle, we take it down and go on our merry way. Finally, we gain access to the path to the village Nata fled from so long ago, and we finally arrive at Nata's home when a Rathalos suddenly attacks at the entrance.
No! Go! It's trying to get inside!
No!
Rathalos!
Please! You have to save him!
We will. Take Nata to camp.
Got it!
The Rathalos is pretty much supposed to be just a generic dragon, but this one was also a Guardian Rathalos, enhancing its abilities even further. The Rathalos is just the fire version of the Rey Dao, so defeating it was not too hard at all at this point of the game, and we're able to dispatch of it quickly and return to the reunion. We learn the Keepers are basically wyvern milk farmers, and they used this resource in the past to create life in the Guardian monsters that are said to be created to help humans. They were locked away but recently started to awaken and flee into the wild, and Nata starts to feel things.
You're not saying that...
Yes. Our ancestors succeeded in creating life. Creatures they called Guardians. To this day, they hibernate in these cocoons.
You've gotta be kidding me.
They are the legacy passed on to us.
Seriously?
The Guardians were created with several unique properties. One, they don't eat. Wyveria's energy is their sole requirement to function. Thus, they have no need for predation.
That explains the behavior of the Doshagama and Rathalos we saw.
Two, they live indefinitely, and therefore have no need to reproduce.
They don't die of natural causes?
Not as long as they continue to consume the wyvern milk. Ever since Wyveria fell, the Guardians stayed dormant until recent years when they began to awaken. This place is rich in wyvern milk. They have all the sustenance they could ever need.
Yet Arkveld escaped to the outside world.
The Guardians were modeled after existing monsters, enhancing their traits. And it seems that Arkveld was singled out.
Because its species was extinct.
I don't know if that's the only reason, but yes, it was different. Arkveld awakened, attacked the village, and fled. Despite the loss of many lives, Our only option is to continue watching over the Guardians still here. It is the destiny that we have inherited from...
Tashin, out there, I saw many things. Many people, creatures, all living life to the fullest. Life. Is that what you call this? Constructed husks that can't even eat? Locked away when they're no longer needed? Arkfeld. All it wanted was to be free! And I don't know which of us is worse.
Nata. If things were different, you wouldn't have this unique perspective. But you do.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't take it out on you.
You really do take after your father. Not, his role among our people was particularly important. That pendant has a very unique function. The energy of Wyveria. Come. You will see.
I think that as the monster animal murderer of the group, it was a bit hard to watch him feel so much for this ravenous beast that has only existed up until this point with the sole purpose of murder. The second Arkville does come out to crash the party in this scene, I just started ripping it apart without a shred of mercy. This thing needed to go, and Nata needed to suck it up. When Arkveld realizes I'm the alpha predator here, he escapes and we return to the Keepers. They send us on our way to find some elves that may have more information on what's going on around here, but say the path may be treacherous. One training arc later, and we head off to see Rove, and he points us in the right direction, which conveniently just so happens to be a straight shot to the west.
What's this? How capricious our meetings and partings seem to be. You need not explain. I assume you have traveled here to seek my wisdom.
That's right. How did you know?
We need to reach a village called Suja. Do you know of a way there?
What paths may be are limited only by our minds. I know of a path paved in air, grouted with risk, and patrolled by a Goliath. What say you?
Come to think of it, Tashin did mention a giant monster.
It's a risk we have to take. Can we count on you, Rove?
You may. there. That way. Straight on to the end. The path is self-evident.
But is it though?
There's no way! Our sacred can probably make it, but...
The beast is away. Now is the time.
Thank you.
May your journey reward you.
Can you take the rear? Let's go!
Rushing out was the death. What? Now was not the time.
On our way through, the largest creature we have ever seen up until now finally appears to hinder our progress. Jindihad feels like more of a demigod than a monster, so I admit I was a bit spooked taking it on for the first time. I also started to recently use the charge blade in place of the heavy bowgun I had been using previously as my second, which made the battle a bit harder since I wasn't prancing around in the air with my insect guive the whole entire time, but this thing did enough damage to make up for it. Switching between the two weapons as needed, the Jindihad was eventually outsmarted by the crew, dropping off the side of a cliff just in time for us to reach the next village. After finding the village elder, she tells us that she has foretold of our coming somehow, but quickly answers all of our questions that we had for her. She doesn't really tell us much more than we already know, but invites us to a massive feast in the same style of the Windchime village that looked equally delicious.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
There we are.
Let us eat.
Thank you.
We need to go lower to the base of the land spine so the keepers show us the way down and warn of a guardian that may pursue us indefinitely if we run into it. The guardian Odogarin finds us quickly and we are suddenly thrust into battle with this panther reptile-like being. The Odogarin is probably my least favorite of the guardian chain of monsters. I just think that its design is pretty bland and it doesn't really pose much of a challenge besides being rather quick. We take care of this guy in 2 shakes of a Quatrame's tail and run into yet another beast directly after defeating the first. Zhu-Wu is yet another octopus that kinda reminds me of something out of Dark Souls with its design. Unfortunately though, I'm not the biggest fan of the Zhu-Wu. I think the design itself could possibly have been a bit more unique since we just fought the Nua Udra not too long before, and it's not necessarily a challenging fight either. Traveling further down the land spine, we finally come across the mountain of carrion that Arkfeld has compiled for itself, and for some reason Nata decides to start crying and begging for us not to kill Arkfeld, but screw that kid, I'm killing this dragon out of spite at this point.
I don't like this place at all. Some are rotting. Some fresh. Did it... all of them? Why? This isn't predatory behavior. It's destructive. We can't let this go on.
There's no other way.
What do you mean? I'm sorry. Arkfeld has become a threat to the continued existence of this ecosystem. It must be put down. No! Please. Please!
Nata.
If anyone should be angry, it's me. And I hate that it happened. But this is the first thing it ever got to decide for itself. To be free. To live strong. Please. Don't do this. I'm begging you.
It can't control itself. The path we must take is clear.
For the continued preservation of this ecosystem, the Guild authorizes you to slay the Guardian Arkfeld.
Acknowledged.
No, please! There has to be another way! It finally got its chance to live!
Arkfeld was pretty easy to defeat, already having fought him once before, learning his move pool. I don't really think any of the bosses in the main story were that challenging, but luckily in the aftergame, they change all of this and finally take the training wheels off. I shredded the chain dragon and brought its corpse out for Nata to see before realizing that there must be some sort of reason the beast was down here. The gang investigates further and quickly comes across a new guardian drawing energy from the dragon torch, being Zoashia. Nata's pendant that has been danced around the whole game is a memento from his father that can stop the dragon torch from affecting the local ecosystem, so he resolves to use it and save the land. I forged some new gear from the skin and nails of Nata's favorite Pokemon and shot off to kill Zoashia.
much to wake it up. The dragon torch. To think that little pendant can stop it.
We don't have to do this. There's one other option.
Hunter, are you sure?
Right. It's worth a shot, isn't it?
Yeah, let's do it!
Leave this to me.
Watch, Nanta. This is what hunters do.
I will. By my own order. I will slay Zoshia.
This guy has some freaky Machamp arms instead of wings, and they act as perfect little nooks to bounce between with my insect Give. I remember when I went into this fight, I had done a bit of training, and before beginning the mission, I completely forgot to restock my supplies, so I was going in with little to no healing. Fortunately, this guy is a piece of cake if you're not standing right in front of him to take his crazy attacks. Zoshia can attack with fire and ice simultaneously and boasts one big attack that could wipe you out pretty much instantly, where he just nukes the entire arena, but through sheer willpower and determination, I was able to fell Zoshia on my first try with minimal healing items. With the main story of Monster Hunter Wilds coming to a conclusion with the ecosystem being saved and Nata still being kind of a weenie, we learn he is now working towards de-weenifying, now striving to become a hunter himself. With the after story finally beginning, but it's mostly just a bunch of callback monsters from other games, online resource farming, and trying to level up enough to finally beat Gorma Gala. But it's all stuff that you're meant to grind out slowly and work towards, so that's what I'm doing, but I don't think the rest of what's going on in the game is really relevant enough to add to this video. That's basically a recap of the happenings of this game anyway. Monster Hunter Wilds completely captivated me and is officially one of my favorite PS5 games of all time, and dare I say it holds the number 2 spot in my book currently. When I first downloaded it with my buddy a few weeks ago, I did not think that it would be this amazing, but boy am I glad that my friends suggested we play this absolute masterpiece of a game. If you enjoyed this video and you have any tips or personal opinions on Monster Hunter Wilds and your opinions with the game, or if you just want to chat about nerd stuff with me, please leave it down in the comments section below and leave some suggestions for other games you'd like to see me talk about or try in the future for videos on this channel. I'd like to thank you all for watching. All that I ask is that if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe down below. I will be releasing a new video every Monday.